Hey guys, nice to see you again. In the previous videos, if you haven't seen them, go watch them. In the previous videos, we have been talking about crypto scams. Mainly, what are some red flags that you might be facing a scam? How does a crypto scam work? Mainly, we're talking about the pig butchering scam because that's the biggest one affecting Canadians right now. And what are some signs that maybe you have already been scammed. We're going to do some future videos as well that are going to talk about what do you do now if you have been the victim of one of these frauds. What are your next steps? But today we're going to talk about some real case scenarios that I have seen in my practice so that you can see sort of the similarities and the minute differences between how these cases unfold. So the first one that I want to talk to you about is one that's really broken my heart. So I see a lot of these cases and every one of them is upsetting because those are real people's lives being affected. But this one in particular has bothered me to no end. So I have this client that came forward and his wife had died. His wife had died within the last couple of years of this happening to him. And he was lonely, just like anybody else. He was just looking for that camaraderie and comfort. And he met a woman through a dating app. And unfortunately, that woman cultivated a relationship with him and gave him, that filled that void for him, was a scammer. And she exploited his trust. So in his case, similar to how I've explained that these tend to unfold, she had told him about this trading platform, or actually in his case, it was two trading platforms that she recommended that he use. And I believe she had said that she was using them to trade. That's generally how they get you in there. They say that they're using them and it's going so well. Anyways, the platforms were Bittrex and TMGM or something like that. Now, Bittrex was an actual trading platform at one point in time. I'm not sure that it still is. So that's another one where I was speaking in prior videos about how we can have clone sites. This Bittrex one was a thing, but this was not the app. This was a cloned app of that. Of course, he didn't know. He'd never traded in crypto before. He had no idea what it was. This wasn't specifically trading in crypto, but he had to buy crypto to send to these exchanges. In his case, he started off with a very small initial deposit and he sent that off and it showed that he was making gains. I believe he was able to make a withdrawal initially. And from there on, he assumed that it was a legitimate investment platform. So he used to get statements from these platforms that would show that he was making all this profit. How he funded these accounts was two different ways. So he had made 3 wire transfers, huge wire transfers, over time to China, to different banks and different companies, which were all supposed to be funding his index account. And they helped him make these purchases and get it sent wherever it's supposed to go, because as I said, he was not familiar with this process at all. In a lot of these cases, when you have individuals like that, they will have you download an app. And I think the one that they were using is AnyDesk to go into your computer, help you set up your wallets. Now, if you know anything about crypto and wallets and how the private keys work, you don't want anybody in there setting up your wallets. But anyways, in these cases, oftentimes that's what happens. They will come in and help you set up your wallets, open your exchange accounts, and then set up your trading platform with their company. So normally the exchanges that you're buying from are real because they need that money, right? So you're wiring your money to these, buying the crypto, sending it to their wallets. Overall, it was over $950,000 that he spent. The reason this one is so sad to me is because he thought that this was going to be his retirement. So he took everything he had. He liquidated his TFSA accounts. He sold his RRSPs. So he took the cash from those, invested that. Him and his wife had a cottage, and he sold that. And there was life insurance money from his wife's death, and that was also used to fund this enterprise. At the end of the day, he has nothing left. He has nothing left to live off of. Like, he has $0. He can no longer pay his bills. And that's all due to the fact that these scammers exploited his trust and pretended to be somebody else, got to know him, got to know his financial situation, and 100% bled him dry. Like, you could not possibly get more out of him. So that was a really, really heartbreaking experience for him. So I had said there's different levels, like different evolutions of this pig butchering scam on how far it goes. For him, the sites that he was investing in, so Bittrex and the other one, they completely disappeared. So that's how he knew that it was indeed a scam. He had said he wanted to withdraw his funds, and then the site was no longer available, like did not exist anymore. So as I had mentioned before, there's some common ways you know in the end that it's a scam. One of them, of course, is going to be you can't get a hold of anybody. The other one, the site doesn't exist. The third one would be you are hearing a litany of reasons you cannot take your funds out. So that was probably the one that affected me the worst personally, and which really lit a fire in me to try to make a difference in the world and get this out there, you know, that this is happening. And this isn't just, it's not like people are getting taken for a little bit of pocket change. This is ruining people's lives and their futures. So the next one we're going to talk about is very interesting too. I'll see you on the next round for that. Okay, this second case is a little bit different. And this one stands out because it wasn't that the individual was approached by somebody initially online out of the blue. So it wasn't like a dating app thing or anything like that. What happened with this client of mine is that he actually signed up for his Facebook group, or he had seen an ad on Facebook. I think that's what it was. And he went and signed up for some site called Quantum Finance. And I believe that was something about like advising how to do investments or something of the like. After he did that, he was then contacted by somebody who said that they were an investment advisor. I think his name was Ian Hoffman. Keep in mind that these are not their names, and I don't even know that we will ever come across the same name twice, unless it's mine. Ian Hoffman, and the company that he worked with was called Time Markets. Again, not a real company. I believe in this case, that one actually changed names a couple times as well, which makes sense. So in this case, this gentleman did an initial investment of $250, and he made $100 profit and was like, okay, this is cool. So we're going to do this. The investment advisor, I have so much trouble saying that because they're not real people. Anyway, the investment advisor had said, like, I will guide you through making these trades, and I can do them for you, and I will charge you 10% commission on whatever your profit is. This is one of those scenarios where the scammers actually did come into his system and do all of the steps to initiate the trade. So they use that help desk or whatever it's called, remote access app, to go into his computer and set up the wallets and set up the trades and do those transfers for him. Now, over time, this individual had put in $3.1 million. Hello, Birdie. $3.1 million. And this wasn't just his money, but this was actually funded by businesses owned by him and his wife. And unfortunately, his wife wasn't completely aware of what it was. I mean, she just trusted his faith in what he was doing, and neither one of them really had enough information at the time. Sorry, I'm inundated with cats here. Yes, so a part of the funds came from their own line of credits. So they funded it with debt, and the rest came from their businesses. And what it was for their businesses was actually their investment portfolios, the real investments that they liquidated to put into this account. Over time, I believe it was 2 years of investing, the account was shown to have accrued a $5 million profit. So that's substantial. But he decided he was done and it was time to pull out. And when he tried to withdraw, there were various reasons he could not. So at one point, he was told that the transaction had been blocked. And in order to unblock the transaction, he would need to pay 2 Bitcoin, which at the time I think was $300,000 US, to unblock it. So he did that process. There was a bit of back and forth, like the customer service people were never available, and he got transferred from one customer service to another, like from Ian Hoffman to Joseph Hoffman, and then eventually to some woman in some other department. But anyways, at the end of the day, something finally did get transferred. Now, what got transferred was worthless coins. So it went into his Atomic wallet. He thought it was USDC. Again, it was just a spam token. This is another one of my cats, Corbin Dallas. They're all screaming in the background because this is when they want to talk to me. Anywho, that case was one where they had no idea that they were being scammed until it was impossible to get their money out. And unfortunately, that is the case quite often. Like, it gets to that point because everything does seem very legitimate, especially when you have cases where they are pretending that there are different people with different positions and different departments, and you're being transferred from one person to another. And keep in mind, you can talk to these people by phone. Like, they have telephone numbers that you can reach them at, or they will phone you, and they want to talk to you all the time. Especially initially, they're quite pushy. Again, as we talked about in some of those videos, there's that sense of urgency. Like, it has to be done now. It has to be done now or you're going to miss out. So that's a case that has lingered on my desk for quite a while, and we're just wrapping up now. And it's a tough one, right? Because again, he made a police report, and like in many of the cases, that's as far as it goes. It's impossible to trace these out. So the third case that we're going to discuss was a husband and wife who were contacted somehow. I'm actually not clear on the details, but they were contacted somehow by an investment advisor. This is going to unfold like most of them unfold initially. This is a case where a small amount was invested at first and a small withdrawal was allowed at first. Oftentimes, the small withdrawals initially will be approved, and that is to show that this is a legitimate trading platform. In this case, the platform that they were using was one that was for contracts. So you would pick 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, 120-day periods to lock in your funds, and they would do the trading for you. I'm not sure if it was futures or how it worked, but you would lock in your funds for a period of time with them. And again, they will get a commission of a percentage of your profit. So for these ones, they transferred money to an exchange and then purchased cryptocurrency and sent that cryptocurrency to what they believed was their wallet or their account, I guess, the wallet of this trading platform to be put into their account. So it went back and forth, and they kept being asked to put in more and more capital every so often. Like, we have to put in more, you need more to be able to do this. And they were constrained by how much they could put in through e-transfer because they had those limits. So at some point, they were offered a loan by this trading platform or by their investment advisors. And they said, we will give you, I think it was just shy of 18,000 US loan. So they did that, made all this profit, yada, yada. Then they were told that their account had been flagged as suspicious. And it was marked as suspicious because it had money in there that did not belong to them. This was $18,000 US, this loan amount, which it's all fake money, nothing exists. They were told to put their account in good standing. They would have to pay 80,000 US, which would be 7% of the value of what it was at that time. So they paid that money. And then they tried to withdraw. And they were told that it couldn't go through because the market was constrained. So they had different excuses through all of this, right? Initially, they have to keep putting money in to keep funding their account. They can't take it out because their account's not in good standing. Therefore, they have to pay even more money. Then once they do that, they can't get it out because the market is constrained. Then they were told again to fix that and get money out, they'd have to pay another $63,000. At this point, they realized that something is wrong, file a police report, and come see me. Again, once you've reached this point, that money is uncollectible. Like, you are not getting that back. I think I mentioned this before, but some people are confused because they think that they actually have made all that money and they can't withdraw that money. That money doesn't exist because the platform is fake. So what you have lost is the money that you have put into it. But it was substantial for this husband, his wife as well. They both invested separately together in an account under his name. I should mention, they did get a coin eventually, $550,000 of a spam token. And then was told that there was an oops with it, and to fix it, they'd pay the $63,000. Sorry, they all get muddied in my head. I have a couple notes down here. They're all similar, but different. As you see, there is a thread that kind of ties them all. All of these people are approached one way or another by a stranger. These strangers get to know them, earn their trust, and entice them to invest in a platform. It always starts with a small initial amount. And then once you see that you're making that profit and maybe can make a small withdrawal, ends up being bigger and bigger amounts that they push you to invest in the platform. And that is called fattening the pig. In a prior video, I had said that the people that are the victims are called pigs and the scammers are called dogs. This is fattening the pig. So they are fattening the pig to butcher it, which is essentially to take it for all that it's got. So we have this common thread, and then at the end, you try to withdraw your funds, and a multitude of things may happen. More recently, we are seeing that once these people realize it's a scam and they're like, I'm out. There's something wrong here. That is when they're going to be contacted by somebody who will say, hey, have you had your funds stolen in a scam? We can recover that. That is a scam. I posted these videos up on TikTok, and had to turn off the comments because every single comment was some scammer commenting saying, hey, I can recover your funds. I can trace out your crypto. Hit me up. Or somebody saying, oh, I've had such good luck. I lost all my money and then so-and-so saved me, like recoverywhatever.com. Also a scam. But that is a huge part of the scam, because you have to think, if you think that you have lost the money you invested plus a huge other sum of money, if you think you've lost $8 or $10 million, you're going to pay whatever if you think that somebody can get that money back for you. That is awful, awful. There is no company that can recover your funds for you. If you have been the victim of a scam, you will not get that money back. No matter what, no matter who, no matter what somebody says, it is a lie. So if I can impress something upon you today that you remember for the rest of your life, and you tell anybody that tells you some weird story, nobody can recover your funds. Stop paying money. It is the same group of people. It is the same international criminal organization of scammers. Now that that's out of the way, I would mention, I see a lot of these cases. I get them every week on my desk. The people that are affected are not all the same. It's not just people that don't speak English well, or old people, because we tend to have this bias around who is gullible, or who, is easier to scam. I have had CPAs and CPA students come to me who have been the victims of these scams. So highly educated, highly intelligent people. Anybody can fall victim to these if you don't have the information, if you don't know what the warning signs are. We know that people say, like, oh, if it's too good to be true, don't trust it. But when you have somebody telling you and showing you these apps and being like, no, like, dude, it's for real. Look, it's working for me. And it spreads like wildfire. It really does. Like, if you have a friend that's making a ton of money on something, or they think they are, and they're telling you and they're showing you they don't know better, you are much more likely to be like, well, I'm going to maybe try it. Don't be doing that. Watch all the videos, please. Go back and see. And then think of these cases that we're talking about today. And there is enough similarity between them that if you encounter something similar, it should hopefully jog your memory, and you'll be like, I've heard something similar to this before. So I hope today has been helpful. I'm going to do another video for you guys that will talk about what are the next steps. What do you do if you have been the victim of one of these scams? I'm on YouTube. I am also uploading to TikTok. I don't care about how many viewers I have or how many likes I have, but I would really like you guys to share the crap out of these videos. My only wish is that we protect our loved ones and our friends and our colleagues and everybody in Canada by getting this information out there and arming people with the information that they need to not fall victim to these scams. I will see you on the next one.